Happy New Year, Team Homesale, and welcome to the Roaring 20s. I want to share some big picture thoughts on the company's 2019, give you some thoughts on the economy, and some predictions for 2020. Let's start with the company. While our final numbers aren't quite in yet, we do know that 2019 was a record for closed volume. And it looks like we'll either be right at or even just above our record for closed units. So great job on all those deals you put together in 2019 and helping all of our clients achieve their dreams of homeownership. In addition to that, our mortgage, title, and insurance companies had fantastic years as well, all showing positive growth rates and doing more and more business with you. Thank you for your referrals. It's so good to help your clients. Our property management firm had a great year as well. Their vacancy rates are well below industry standards, and their rental collection numbers, which keeps our landlords happy, are at all-time highs as well. So they're doing a phenomenal job for our landlords. In other news, we had some great new things happen in the company in 2019. We rolled out some good tools for you. We put some new systems in place. We also had some new offices, a new office open. We've expanded into the Harford County market of Maryland with our new Bel Air location. If you haven't seen it yet and you're in the area, stop by. We'd love to show it off to you. In addition, just like all our other offices, it's available for anyone's use at any time for servicing clients if you happen to be doing business in that area. In 2020, we have some other exciting facilities news coming, and some of it's already public. Like, we've already announced that our Elizabethtown office will be moving in the spring to a new location, and we're really excited about it. And just this week, our Clarkview office in Baltimore started a wonderful renovation that will dramatically change the look and feel of our space there in Baltimore and position us to be the company of choice for the future. Let's look at the economy for a few minutes. I'm sure you've seen the talking heads or heard the guys on the radio spewing fears about recessions. They're saying we're due for a recession. We're overdue. It's the longest expansion we've ever had. Well, guess what? They said the same thing last year, and 2019 turned out to be a great year for us. So I've started thinking about this like it's kind of like standing out on Christmas morning when the sun's shining and it's 50 degrees and saying, I think we're going to have a white Christmas this year. We haven't had one in several years, so this must be the year. Well, that's silly. And I think the recession fears are also a little silly. Are there things that could cause it? Absolutely. Global trade wars, geopolitical uncertainty, all sorts of things could push us into a recession. But we have some really positive things going for housing and for our economy, which is helping people buy and sell homes. When we look at those statistics, we see that we're set up for a great 2020, and we believe even if we have a recession, that we will have a good year for housing. So let's take a look at some of those numbers. For starters, jobs are an all-time high. We have the most people ever employed in our country. Of course, that leads to a low unemployment rate. We're at 3.6%. And in some of our local markets, we're even lower. We live in some great places that employ people in good wage-earning jobs, which allows them to do what? You got it. They buy houses. They put their families in great places to live and provide for a wonderful economy that we call home. In addition, we've got a wealth effect going on. This helps our move-up buyers. With record stock markets, with household wealth at an all-time high, it gives the move-up buyer the confidence to make that decision to take on a little more home, to take on that dream home, to possibly buy a second home. Those impacts we will feel in 2020. In addition, household formation is really strong. When we look at the numbers over the last decade, we have reversed a trend. During the Great Recession, it wasn't just a joke. People really did move into each other's basements. Moms and dads moved in with kids, kids moved back in with moms. And I think we're all saying that that's never an ideal scenario. So it's great that we're getting past those time frames and we're back to traditional life events causing the creation of new households. And that is happening on basis now that is at all-time highs. So let's look at 2000 compared to 2019. All of our key stats that drive housing are actually better than they were in 2000. But in 2019, we sold less homes, both when we look at both the resale homes and the new construction. 2000 actually saw more home sales than 2019, even though the economic indicators are better for housing right now. That tells me that we still got some pent-up demand and that we will have strong demand in 2020. And even if we do have a recession, that we will have a good housing market. So let's talk about recessions for a minute. What's that word even mean? Most of us think of it as this horrible economic event that causes a huge collapse in our personal income or our personal wealth. Well, sometimes. But the true term means that we have 2 economic quarters in a row where the U.S. economy has negative GDP growth. That's what it means. It's not anything other than that. So we've actually had recessions in the United States where housing was either flat, and even in some where housing grew. So if you go back to 2000, 2001's recession, we actually saw housing growth during that marketplace. So just because we have a recession doesn't even mean that the household formation, strong jobs, wealth effect, that all of those things will be destroyed. We still have this pent-up demand that will drive housing decisions even in a recessionary environment. And let's look at the last one. One of the worst in history. We call it the Great Recession, basically to differentiate it from the Great Depression of the 30s. That Great Recession, our agents still sold thousands and thousands of homes to people in our marketplaces who needed to make housing decisions and needed to move on with their lives, even though the economic environment wasn't ideal for them. That will happen in any market. And if you are prepared and focused on doing the things that make you successful, you will be successful in a recessionary environment just as you are in an expansionary one. And that's what we are going to focus on as we look at 2020. We're going to be really focused on a campaign of re-engagement and getting back to things that will help you in your business to do more business in any environment. I look forward to seeing you at our kickoff breakfast, and I hope you have a great 2020.